Hello, hello. Welcome to Rivalz Race
Hello?
Chat. Adam, Ross, Clinton, Geoffrey, thank you for joining us. Adam, I got a bone to pick with you. Um,
Yeah, do it.
when I got off the air last week, I just happened to catch
Mhm.
your Facebook post and it said that come join us. Clinton's annoying me already. What kind of bullshit's
You know,
that?
it's a bit of clickbait. It's a bit of clickbait. And the reason you annoy me is because you're so non-committal. Like you like to argue, but you don't ever make a point. Who should have flown the spaceship on the Highwayman? We just like it was 5 minutes of conversation. You never did voice an opinion. You
I
listened to
s-
mine. No,
yeah. I
you
deflected and I
just
did an Adam where I ask you another question to answer my question and it
yeah.
becomes a quiz. Anyways,
Can
we have a
that's
packed
it can't
show.
be our Yeah, it will be good. It's going to be great. It can't be the quick wit trivia. But who flew the starship on the highwaymen of the four highwaymen? Who flew the starship? One was a highwayman. One was a sailor. One was a dam builder. One flew a starship.
You
Sorry,
name them
Clint.
all,
Take it
you,
away.
you, you get Adam's hot dogs for the summer. We do
They
have
can
our
have the
quick
one
wit,
that's
quick
left
wit.
over.
We do have our quick wit trivia going on this week. This week, it brings us to the quick wit Superstock series. So if you have the correct answer, feel free to write it down here in the comments. If you're a new time winner, we're not going to give you shirt after shirt. I know we want stuff. And Spencer's jumping the gun on me. I'm trying to set it up because you gave me shit last week because I didn't set it up properly. So, all right, the question's on the screen. Throw your answers up there. We're going to pick a couple new winners. If we mistakenly pick a winner who's already won before, please, uh, we'll let you know and we'll make something happen. So let's talk about it, Adam. In 2021, the Quick Wick Superstock Series held 6 races. What driver had
Mhm.
the most top 10 finishes and how many? Now, I don't want you to say it now, but let that roll around your brain for a minute. I don't know if you could get this. I really don't.
Well, I'm gonna give. It's not a hint, but I will say this because I remembered as we were calling those races, what I enjoyed so much is if you had a clean race, you could have a top five finish, because in those races, very rarely did anyone have a clean race. Like a lot of people battled adversity, would have to drop to the back, come through the field, so the driver who could stay out of trouble. The opposite of that last season, for example, would have been Paul Pepper. A beautiful car. I think that's why my eyes always drew to it. But like that car was a crash magnet. If there was a problem on the track, it would find him and he'd get tied up. So the opposite of that, the driver who could avoid that stuff, that's where the
yeah,
answer is.
and when we go looking through some of the stats and stuff to find these questions, we're looking for a few different things. Taylor, we'll get in touch with you right after the show. I'll make sure you get hooked up. Um, with when we look at these stats out, and a lot of these things don't jump right out at us. I was like, wow, that's kind of a unique stat. So once again, the question for the Quick Superstock series this week is they held 6 races in that series. What driver had the most top 10 finishes in 2021 and how many? Fran puts a post up there. Yeah, sorry to hear the passing of former St. Catharines late model modified driver Dan Rizzardo. That came out this week. So we'll bring some more light to that. As we know, they've just asked for privacy now as we get into that. Adam, our first guest has arrived. Greg McPherson from Inside Track Motorsport News will be joining us soon. As soon as he's ready, Spencer, and you got him tuned up, bring him on. Um, a lot of you race fans are obviously familiar with Inside Track Motorsport News and what they do, and then recently to getting on with the Motorama show and the history of that. Well, obviously, we'll talk to Greg about how that all came about. We're also
I
expecting Treyton Lapsovich to stop by and Doug Leonard and Cam Harris. So jam-packed show here tonight.
I also want Greg to pronounce the show he is promoting. It's something I've wanted to pick on you about for a couple of weeks now, Clinton, and I haven't because I'm not sure if I'm right or wrong. But we're gonna get that. Greg, welcome to the show, Greg McPherson. Great to have you.
No,
Hey guys, thanks so much for having me.
he's muted. Spencer
Oh,
loses
he's
20
muted.
bucks every time a guest comes out and he's muted.
Could be
Say
Greg,
when
but
you
it
can
could
hear
be
me.
Spence. Ah, you sound great.
Mine says I'm on.
Nice. Can you
Okay.
name
Yeah,
your show for us, Greg?
Motorama Custom Car and Motorsports Expo.
Okay, so
Yes,
hold on, Greg.
Clint. You,
I'm just going to stop you there. You're being
Yeah.
that much. And Greg, I hope you're not planning on resharing this because you're going to want to reshare it after I say what I'm going to say. Adam, you're an asshole. You're really picking on me because I said Motorama and not Rama. Same things you pick on me for Teamersma and Temersma. Are you that much of a douche? Seriously.
Yes.
You are becoming way too cranky in your old age. And now we've lost Greg. I offended him and he left us.
Yeah, he's still there. Motorama. It just sounds like pompous. What private school do you go to?
We say Motorama.
There, he said it.
Motorama.
What did I say?
You say Motorama. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. All right, Greg. Welcome to the show. Here's your clean start if you want to reshare this. Greg McPherson, Inside Track Motorsport News, and some motorsport show in Toronto that I can never pronounce correctly. Greg, welcome to the program. Let's talk about the situation. For me, unfortunately for you, Motorama is always going to be affected with COVID with me because that's where it seemed to all break. We were getting set up and then it all seemed to fall apart on us there. We're getting past that now and you guys are gearing up. You've had to have a change of dates. Talk to us about what you guys have coming up this year. Did we lose him?
Oh, that's crazy.
That is great.
We'll get him back. We'll get him back. And I did notice it last week when you said it, Motorama. Why does he say it like that? Like Casino. No, it's Casino Rama. It's just the same thing. Rama. I mean, I called you out in front of Greg McPherson, the nicest guy in racing. He's not going to hold a grudge.
Oh, I'm not worried about Greg holding a grudge. I'm the one that's going to hold a grudge. Greg, welcome back to the show. What I was saying is, when we were last at your show, because I'm afraid to say it now because I don't even know what the correct way is, COVID kicked us in the butt, man. We all got sent home mid-show. It was a mess, and you guys have been trying to rebuild that situation since then. Let's talk about what you have going on now. Are you kidding me? All right, Spencer, figure it out.
So this time,
move on from Greg.
This time when Greg comes back, let's just real quick, Greg, tell us about your show, and then he can. All right, we're gonna try this again. Greg, tell us about your show.
Motorama Custom Car Motorsports Expo. We had to move it back this year. We've traditionally been in the middle of March, but about January, when things were still sort of looking, iffy, we had the opportunity, and several other shows at the International Center as well, but we had the opportunity to move it back, which is what we did for just this year. So we now take place April 29th, 30th, and May 1st at the International Center, which it's great that we can do it, and all the restrictions are off, and the masks are off, and the checking for Vax passes is all done with, for now anyway, hopefully. But it's a little close to racing season, so we're feeling it a little bit with some of the tracks and series, things that are getting rolling. But anyway, we're just glad to be able to do it. We all heard it that weekend when we were getting shut down. It's going to be 2 weeks to flatten the curve, and it's been a long 2 weeks. So there you go.
Oh, you got to make those T-shirts, Greg. Inside Track has to put out. It's been a long 2 weeks. Let's go racing. That'd be awesome.
Well, I know you guys have been busy in different ways too, but obviously Clinton and you guys with Busch, and you're in the exact same boat. So I was just looking at that schedule today and can't wait for that this year. So many neat things on it, and it's hard to believe it hasn't happened for 2 years.
Yeah, that's for sure. It's been crazy, Greg. What's been some of the cool stuff you've seen happen in the past couple of years? I know you've been a lot of the tracks. You're a big proponent to get everybody out and going again, a big cheerleader for all the industry. Some cool stuff happened, though. We didn't really just die on the vine.
Yeah, and it's just the spirit of all the people involved. Like it wasn't easy. Like I've been to transit.
And yeah, Greg, we're having a hard time with the connection. Now that I say that, Clint, you look frozen too. Am I frozen?
No, I'm here.
Hey guys,
no, you're there.
I'm sorry, guys. You know what? It's I've got a good network here. It only happens. I'm jinxed when I come on with you guys, but anyway,
Greg, give us some particulars about the show again. Same setup, same location, same type of cars. What do we need to know about the show?
Absolutely. So with the show, we're the same footprint pretty much. To be able to move our weekend, we had to give Hall 4, which the tuners have traditionally been in. So they've been incorporated into the show. But otherwise, all the same stuff. The Hall 1 with the sort of 28 first time shown incredible cars, going into Hall 1B with the racing zone. Tracks and series, manufacturers, collectibles, other vendors, so that they're all in there. Got a great participation this year with the we call it the drag racing community. They're coming in a pretty solid way. I guess they don't get started till a little bit later than some of the short track guys. One thing we're working on for this year, and you guys are absolutely invited, is and I know you're working already that weekend, but we've got a stage there, and we want to invite all the radio guys and the podcast guys and the broadcasters to come and do a session on the stage there, whether they pick people out of the audience or interview the tracks and series that are there, racers, or supply their own guests. They're welcome to take to the stage and sort of do an hour of their show. So that's something we're looking forward to. So if you guys are able to participate, that would be awesome. Then lots of clubs and series clubs, car clubs in Hall 2 and some of the corporate displays. And Hall 3, the Motorama Mayhem room, which is sort of like the rockabilly lifestyle with some bands and Needle Barber.
Looks like we lost Greg again. All right, we'll try Greg with Greg in a couple weeks and see if we can make that work. Unfortunately, we lost him again.
Motorama, the International Center in Toronto, the last weekend in April, which I believe is the 29th, 30th, and would it be May 1st? Is there 31 days in April?
I believe that is it, yeah.
How come I always pick on you and then I feel so bad? I can spend a whole night picking on Greg Calnan. Like, we can fire back and forth. I pick on you, like, he's going to be so mad.
I don't know, man. I like to think I got a tougher skin. It just puts me in a pissy mood right off the bat.
I do. Yeah, son of a gun. And we're going to be working more together this year.
Without Greg in the middle to referee.
Yes, differently this year. And I expect you to step up and take the brunt. Like, you listen, hire an apprentice. Whoever can do it, please. Clinton needs an apprentice to really throw the heat, because Clinton would kill me in a physical fight. Like, I'm sure of this. You would beat me down to a pulp. But when it comes to throwing jabs, I just think like verbal jabs.
I'll polish up my verbal jabbage. So we do have 3 more guests still coming on. We've got Treyton Lapsovich going to join us to talk about his first race of the season already. We'll get in and talk to Cam Harris, going to talk about the hype that's surrounding the Pinty series. And I was in some NASCAR meetings today too. We have our Burger Run for the week. And Doug Lem's going to come on to talk about that. Doug, if you're watching, join us anytime, and we'll jump into that stuff. While we wait for that to happen, let's jump all the way down to the bottom rundown. NASCAR in for Le Mans. This was a unique story shared to us by Spencer this week. And, NASCAR is getting involved in an experimental aspect of Le Mans. They're going to send a Camaro over there, which is kind of cool at them to have NASCAR. They did it many years ago with Junie Don Levy's car and way back in the day, but I don't know if you caught the article. I thought it was interesting to see them over there. Good to see an international footprint, and I think we're going to see a little bit more of NASCAR trying to push their stuff around the world a little bit more. And there's a look at it. And it's basically the next-gen Camaro that they're racing in Cup, and they're going to send it over, and it'll run out of what they call Garage 56, which is the experimental garage, or grid position. It won't take a spot away from any other car that is qualified, but it's going to get to participate, which is kind of neat to see how it'll do in 24 hours of a race.
Yeah, and I think it's really cool. We talked about this through the week, how NASCAR, like, there's so many things going well, Clinton, this year. I think the racing has been phenomenal, but I think, and there's reasons for it. Can we go ahead and talk about that, social media and Formula One and NASCAR? And
yeah,
the 24 hours of Le Mans is a big deal globally in the global racing community. So I think this is a big deal for NASCAR to do. Because I think what made NASCAR so successful before was that it was so far apart from any other mainstream racing series. Like, it was the granddaddy. But recently, and I noticed it this weekend because I shared it with you, globally, F1 is still where it's at. But there's always been a big divide. Some people watch F1, but you talk about NASCAR. That's what racing people chat about. Recently, there's a lot more people, and I noticed this Sunday, nobody's posting about the NASCAR race, but my social media feed is full of people talking about the F1 race. Clint, why is that?
I think it has a lot to do with the Netflix series. I mean, in our circle that we talked about, that's what got me commenting on it. Was I've been following the Netflix series. I'm a latecomer to it. I only watched like the last season of it. I thought it was amazing. I mean, in short order, I understood who all the players were. I got totally immersed in it, and now I think it was awesome to see the first race come out. I made sure I was there. I got a new TV package now that lets me watch all the helmet cams of all the drivers. So, man, if anything, Formula One does a great job of immersing everybody in it. And I think the show's done a great job in promoting that.
And I haven't watched the show, but now I'm going to have to because it's peer pressure, right? That's what people are talking about. So I've got to be a bit more educated. And that was my point. NASCAR, lends itself to that Kevin James sitcom and going full mainstream, but it's not really sharing the sport. What F1 or whoever made that Netflix series, they've let you behind the curtain to see the real stories from what I've heard of what they're sharing, and it makes people interested. It gets people involved, and that's what you want. Once you get people interested in the stories, Clinton, that's what you're selling. That's what you're trying to do. That's also why I shared a video that hopefully we're going to get to watch of Hailie Deegan from this weekend. I thought, man, oh man, for someone who is all about image and always looking great, they do a fantastic job of letting you in and seeing the good, the bad, and the ugly. Yeah,
we've got that one coming up a bit later in the show too. Actually, Spencer, if you want to roll that now, since we don't have Doug Treyton or Cam's not expected here for a little bit more though. Let's roll this video. This is something you brought in, Spencer. It's Hailie Deegan sharing her fire situation.
Ooh, they're going at it.
And this is all part of a 10-minute video that they share after a race weekend. And they put it together. They have a bit of fun. But we're starting it here just as the race gets going. They talk a bit about strategy, and then we're just going to watch how the day unfolds. And I want you to keep in mind how little the race car driver actually knows about what's going on. They have to trust what's being said in their radio.
All day, we'll do all we can to get track position, Hailie, and go get them when it counts, okay?
And 4, thank you guys. Let's make today a good one.
Cover to the green here. Green, 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 rolling fine up here. Everything's good. It's fine. Just stay in line here. I'll tell you if there's a wreck. You stay in it. Just nice to keep rolling that second lane. These guys are going to check up on the bottom. You're going to go right by them right here. Inside, rolling fine up front. We need to get by these next 2 trucks here, then we'll be fine. Lined up inside here. There you go. Keep it wound up there. Just nice and smooth. 85% right here. All I need. All clear. Inside the 4 by himself. Keep coming inside. You're good. Clear. Good save, Hailie.
I have a tire rub.
We're coming to pit road this time. Left rear flat. Keep it on the apron right here. You're good. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Now here's where it gets interesting. The spotter's done a great job of keeping things calm, but here's where a young driver is trying to explain what she's feeling, and she still has to trust what they're saying.
Let us know here. If it's flat, I can't see it.
It's not flat yet, but there's smoke.
There's a little bit of rubber up underneath it. That's what she smells. It's just a carcass. It's okay. Tire is up. It's just stuff she smells. I can see it.
Watch it in the corner. See if there's any smoke.
Like trash from underneath there smoking. I have not seen anything.
It's getting worse.
But your tire's not rubbing. There's trash under there burning, but it's up to you.
How many laps till station? Something smells off.
Yeah, we think the carcass is underneath there, and that's what you're smelling and stuff, so.
I'd be on fire. Besides pie, it's really hot in here, guys.
I definitely see smoke, and I definitely see a flame underneath, Mike. Side tire off, be ready to put a fire out. Shoot it. It's just rubber, shoot it. Okay, now, let the air get out. Do not put that on, Get the carcass out of there, now that it's out. Get a sawzall and cut it. Stop, we're done. Help her.
And look at how much they let you watch here. Like, So real quickly, the worst part of what's just happened there is the fire extinguisher. So Haley Deegan trying to do what she's there to do. She's trusting the people around her. That fire extinguisher that they use sucks the oxygen right out of your lungs. But they don't stop. They still want people to be able to see what was going on.
Hey! Come here! Come here, Perry.
Yeah, that's pretty wild.
And keep rolling. There's about one more minute where after she gets released, I want you to tell me when she coughs in the trailer, does smoke come out of her mouth? Something comes out of her mouth. I'm telling you, watch when they go into her holler. And this is the part that blew my mind. So here's
pretty
someone
much
who's all about
8 laps,
image.
and I came from 27th to 17th, 18th. Me and Zane were right with each other is where we started. We were coming through the field pretty good. Like, I feel like we had a lot of speed. And then the 91, which I don't even know.
If you want to carry on,
he
Clint, we
plowed
can.
into
But
me on the back
it's
stretch
just
and
a
hit me really
raw
hard, and I almost
recounting
lost it, but I saved it. But it
of
made
being on
me shoot
fire.
the raw Chastain
And she's
on the
telling
inside of me
people.
and gave me a left rear flat.
But they wouldn't
And
listen
it
to her.
hit
Listen to
underneath.
this.
And I knew something was wrong, because like the moment we went out, I was like, something's not right, guys. And my back started getting really hot. It ended up actually catching on fire, and I think it was on fire for a couple laps because my back started getting super hot. They figured out that I was on fire because I can't see the truck like that, and so I was like, screw it, I'm gonna drive back. If I can get to pit road, they can put the fire out and maybe we keep going. I made pit road. Was really on fire at that point, and there was a bunch of like black smoke and stuff. They hit it with the fire extinguisher. Yeah, I can't have that water. It blew all the black smoke and fire extinguisher smoke into my air hose and throughout the whole truck, and like I couldn't see anything. So I inhaled that and I started choking, and then I started not being able to get more air in, like suffocating.
And Haley doesn't realize what those fire extinguishers do. That's how they work. They suck the oxygen out. And even the spotter's saying, you know, if you're going to hit it quick. But anyhow, I just thought that was an excellent look behind the scenes at what they go through on a race day.
Yeah, especially for someone like Haley. We got to get back in gear. We're way behind. Doug Leonard's with us. Treyton Lapsovich is in the chute. We are backed up big time. Doug, quickly, this is rapid fire for you. We're going to throw this at you and kick you off. Show the sprint car crash, Spencer. Doug's going to make the call. Is it anybody's fault? What do you do here?
As he works the bottom, they're side by side contact. Oh no! Logan Wagner now spinning in front of the field as they made contact. Wagner close in hand as he works the bottom. They're side by side contact. Oh no! Logan Wagner now spinning in front of the field as they made contact.
So, Doug, what guy gets the black flag? Do any of them get the black flag? Oh, my goodness.
He was it's fine. I mean, it's a slider. He sees it coming and all the stuff. He tries to cross him over. I don't think it was intentional on it. I mean, there is a break, but it's a split-second decision to change lanes. I think that's what he did.
And so what's your initial reaction? No call or call?
No call.
I want to ask you about intention. And I mean, I'm with you. I don't think he meant to spin somebody into the wall. I think he's trying to cross them over. Do you take intention or what you perceive to be a driver's intention when you're making these calls?
You got to take it into consideration. I mean, as to what he was trying to do on it, but I mean, it also comes down to car control. I mean, in a perfect world, we wish the drivers didn't put us in these tough decisions and get into sticky situations like this and that. But I mean, I don't think there was any intent there. I mean, they're racing hard for the lead, and I mean, he was up top. I mean, Macri was up top, and the one car was on the bottom. He's seen it coming, and he probably thought he was clear.
All right, there you have it.
Clint, Clint obviously has a different opinion on it.
No, I just think, we've had this fight before, and I mean, my own family doesn't talk to me anymore because they say we shouldn't be making judgment calls on sprint cars because the intent is never to hit each other. But I always say, if you let the leader be spun out, you're going to find some problems there. And, Adam and I think, can both agree that if you're the car behind whoever you're chasing, it's your job at all times to keep your car in control and keep it off him, even if he does something erratically in front of you, like we saw with the Kruder Westbrook situation, where Kruder thought he was going one way. At the last minute, Westbrook decided to go left, and they came together. If you're the guy behind, you kind of got to keep it off.
Right. Here's a perfect situation. John Caselli, we all know him, and famous man. He had a rule, and it was on the first day. He told me, I have a spinner and spinny rule. It doesn't matter what the intent, whether it's intentional or it's not intentional, and that if they make contact, they both go to the back. It solved the problem.
Yeah. When you're consistent with it, Doug, and it's got to be from day one,
right?
Call it the same way. But what's interesting about that, Clinton, the Kruder Westbrook situation and this one right here, I almost promise you at the next drivers meeting, whether you make a call or you don't make a call, someone's going to put their hand up, not even necessarily complain about it, but ask for clarification. Hey, what's allowed? Is this, or, right? Like, no matter which way it goes, someone's going to get vocal about it. And it's probably going to be someone who was not involved in the incident.
Typically, yeah.
You're probably right. I mean, and I think it also looks at it. How long was he leading the race? I mean, I think that needs to take into consideration too. I mean, this one was out of nowhere taking the lead. I think the Kruder Dylan Westbrook situation was a little bit different. Kruder was leading for a while, and Dylan threw the bonsai move with Kruder already down there. I mean, the same incident happened last year at Humberstone, coming out of turn 2 between Dave Bailey and Jason Fontaine. I mean, Jason wrecked his car, unfortunately, and all this stuff. A lot of people are upset with Bailey. I mean, watching the replay, and I don't have that liberty at that time, but watching the replay and that, I feel Bailey was clean on it.
Right on, Doug. Thanks for stopping by. Twitch, it says for once he agrees with you, and Jason Chapman says he's going to make a note of the date to make sure we have that logged in for the future. Doug, thanks for stopping by. We'll talk to you more and more as we get closer to
drinking tonight. All right, see you guys.
See you, Doug.
Thanks, Doug. Just like Gene Steratore on I think he does football and basketball broadcasts. We're going to go to Gene Steratore, our head officiating consultant, and talk us through this situation.
We've got Treyton Lapsovich going to be joining us now to talk about his weekend racing in the States. And, we have a video of a pretty cool save. Adam, you can take it away once we've got Treyton on. Let us know if you can hear us, Treyton. Can we hear you?
Yeah, how's it going?
Good.
Nice. Good, Treyton. How you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
Good, man. How did you enjoy Hickory Motor Speedway, one of the most famous speedways anywhere in the world, especially short tracks, also one of the roughest racetracks you can drive on. How did you enjoy it?
It was awesome. It was a great experience. Truthfully, it's not comparable to anything we race here in Ontario at all. The bumps, like you mentioned, are like nothing else. Through 3 and 4, it definitely takes a special line to get through there, and a lot of practice to be able to hit that line every time. For us, it was pretty much a learning curve every time we were out on the track. It took us a while to get the setup in. The Friday night's race was really just trial and error for us. The car was good then, but we got it really good for the Saturday race. A lot of hard work went into that, and I think it was a lot of me learning the track as well, just with more laps.
Treyton, let's talk about the all-star crew you've got with you. You know, you got some of the best in the business helping you out along with your family. It looked like you just had to do a motor swap there. What was the story there?
We just had some motor troubles on the way down. When we got there, we noticed them. We weren't expecting to make a motor swap at all. It was quite a tear trying to find one and then get it in as well. My family actually, we dropped the car there, then we went to Florida. So we weren't there. We were trying to make a vacation out of it for my mom, just to keep her happy. Caden found the motor air, the motor problem, and tracked one down. And then thankfully the Orlandos, which are a family that Caden met working at Hamke, they opened their doors, let them use the shop. They got the motor swap all done there. Just very thankful for all those guys to do that, especially when we weren't in town and not there. And it made it a lot easier to show up Thursday on test day and have a really fast car right out of the gate.
Treyton, how good does it feel? Spencer, get ready to show the video, but don't show it again yet. How good does it feel when you miss a wreck that you know would have destroyed your whole weekend?
It's really relieving. I did not want to go home Friday night. I wanted to race Saturday as well, and holy, that was the craziest moment I've ever had in a race car personally. I've never come that close to destruction.
So Treyton's car was the black car, not the car that spun out, but it's the black car. You can tell it's got a big Quick Wick logo on the hood. What are you looking at from inside your car? Because you were right behind the yellow car, so if you were looking beyond it, you might have caught a bit of that spin. Talk us through this.
Yeah, I mean, there's not really much you can see when I was tucked behind the yellow car there. So all of a sudden, the waves kind of split in front of me, and there's a car stopped facing me, coming out of the corner. There's only so much your spotter can do in that instance. It just, everything happened so fast. And of course, he kind of spun out right in the middle of the track there. Car's on my outside, so nothing I could do there. And I pretty much just got it sideways with a lot of rear brake in the car. Thankfully, I already had a lot of rear brake in the car. It kind of pitched the car sideways for me, gassed it up, and was able to get around him. And then the radio conversations after that were pretty funny. A lot of relief on the radio.
I have a follow-up, Clint, and then it's all yours. At the end of a season, Treyton, when you look back, do you remember more the victories, or will you remember more a moment just like that one? What sticks in your memory banks?
I mean, the victories are definitely will always be there. Winning the Great Canadian Race last year is something that'll probably always stick with me. Being such a prestigious race and my first APC win at that. But something like that will also be around for a long time. I mean, I hope that video it'll continue to circulate, and it'll show up in my feed every year as a memory at least. So it'll be something to look back on that we were able to save a car there, and we did get to go home with the car in one piece.
Treyton, you got a full season coming up this year. What's next on? You've got the Pinty Series, the APC Series, and a sprinkling of U.S. races. Where will we see you next behind the wheel?
If we don't do any more racing in the States with the Pro Late model, the first race will probably be the first Pinty's race. We would like to sprinkle here and there with the late model more in the States, because it's really just a lot of fun showing up to those races when there's really no expectations or anything like that. We're just there to no one knows us either, so it's fun to show up and be fast at that. So we would like to do some more racing in the States, so we might see some one or two before the NASCAR Pinty Series starts, and then after it'll be pretty much just all NASCAR Pinty Series for the summer, and then maybe a sprinkle in of APC events as well.
Right on.
Treyton, toss out a couple of racetracks that are on your list of places you want to visit. You'd be excited to go to.
I think Nashville and Winchester are probably at the top of that list. I've been to both of them as a spectator, and they're extremely fast, extremely technical. Nashville is probably number one on the list. It looks like a super fun track, and I think you might be able to see us take the Pro Late model there at some point this season.
And
awesome.
Before we forget, where did you finish Friday and Saturday? We should at least talk about the results.
We finished 6th on Friday. We struggled with the car, but that race pitted for adjustments around halfway, which put us in like 23rd. So made a lot of moves back up to the front in that race. Saturday, we hung out a lot at the front of the field throughout the start of the race, run around 4th or 5th, and then we had motor troubles again around the last 50 laps. So we finished last currently lap, so I think it was around 12th. We definitely had a really good car Saturday. It's just a shame the motor gremlins come back on us.
Right on, Treyton. Thanks for stopping by, man. We're going to follow your progress throughout the year, and we appreciate you stopping by.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
Treyton Lapsovich, watch for him on the Pinty Series and sprinkled in with a few other races along the way. And hard to miss Adam. The kid always leaves a bit of a wake where he goes, but in a good way.
They're such a fun family, right? They're Treyton probably is the most even-keeled of them. Caden has this great chip on his shoulder, that he uses positively. Ryden is like a stick of dynamite. Like they're like a sitcom. Everyone has a very distinct personality, and Jeff just kind of sits back and takes it all in.
They've all got their own roles.
Yeah, we'll leave Sherry and Jayan right out of it because they don't deserve to be dragged down with the Lapsovich boys.
Our next guest is already on the line. We'll bring him in, Cam Harris from Stickers and Scuff podcast and YouTube stuff. Cam, welcome to the show, man. Can you hear us, and can we hear you?
I don't know. Let's try. Testing. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, we got you, bud.
Great success, Cam.
Go ahead,
I
Adam.
was just going to say, Cam, good to see you, man. Thanks for stopping by. And how have you been? New job, I believe. How's that going?
Oh man, it's going really well. Yeah, we not so much a new job, but just a little bit of a promotion at work. So that's going really well, and things with the podcast are going great. And we're really excited to go to the racetrack, man. It's been way too long. It feels like years, even though it hasn't been.
Cam, let's talk about your situation now. You guys came to the sport a lot later than all of us. You're basically a super fan who's gotten involved now. You got this podcast going. You're the one guy who's really out every week promoting the Pinty series, putting fictionals together, trying to draw sponsors for the guys. Your enthusiasm and eagerness is something Adam and I lost a long time ago, and we wish we could buy it back, just like we wish we could enjoy the smell of the hot dogs and seeing the fresh race cars again instead of being crusty like we are. And I don't think I'm bullshitting, Adam. We'd love to have your enthusiasm. But Cam, let's talk about the Pinty series. That's why we're here. You're the one waving the flag for it. You're probably the number one super fan and doing a great job promoting it. Your thoughts on the upcoming season for the Pinty series?
Well, yeah, there's a lot to be excited for, Clinton. We see it kind of we go back to 2019. That's when the series was at its real peak. It really felt like, and unfortunately, COVID got in the way. Last year, we get back to things, and it took off. And we had some names that we haven't seen in a long time, and some new names. And it brings more fans to the racetrack, right? They want to see more cars. They want to see more drivers. And now we're going to be, seeing a 2022 season where there's rumors out there that we're going to see even more. We're going to see even more names. And you know what? The one thing that's why we get so invested in this series is because it's ours. It's Canada's NASCAR series. And why not showcase Canada's greatest talent with NASCAR and us get behind it? Because you know what? Motorsports in Canada, it's always going to have to compete against hockey. It's always going to have to compete against curling for ratings. And you know what? Why not be a cheerleader for it and see if we can get some more companies interested, bring some new drivers in, and hopefully help keep it healthy for years to come.
Cam, what I love about you and what you and the Buns are doing is you see all the good. Like you see the sizzle. You see it the way it's meant to be seen. And it's so much fun because you're actually able to convey that. I love what I do. I get so excited. I think Clint made a good point. We've been around it so long that I used to get not irritable, but I'd wonder why, Don Thompson and Peter Gibbons and Mark Dilley would stand there and complaining about racing when they were at the pinnacle of what they're doing. And I can kind of see it, but you've still got that you're still in the honeymoon stage. And I don't see it changing. But for that, I thank you for it. I thank you for making it happen. And you guys have done an awesome job. And Hank, 1 second before you reply, Clint, do you remember me trying to get them on? It's like, we got to get these guys on G-Force. I think it's going to be fantastic. You didn't need G-Force TV. You guys built something amazing. What's been your favorite part so far?
Well, that's a bit of a loaded question, Adam, because we didn't really know what to expect getting into it. We were just two fans, Graydon and myself, and we met via Twitter. Like we didn't even physically meet until Sunset last year, and we did the podcast for half a year. You just either have chemistry or you don't. And, you know, with his boys, and but by the way, you know, Owen and Riley, say Ingrid and all say hi. You know, they definitely miss you guys and can't wait to see you guys at the racetrack. And, you know, we've become kind of best friends out of it. And the whole idea behind Stickers and Scuffs is that we're from two completely different worlds. You know, he's out there clearing back roads and paving driveways and doing all sorts of like outdoor rough work. And then I'm at Bay Street in the financial district working at a law firm, right? So completely different backgrounds, but racing brings us together. And lucky enough through this, the best thing is that we've got to learn so much about Canadian racers that, you know, maybe they don't have that big platform that we would be able to hear about their backstories and learn about them and see the true personalities that a lot of them have. You know, a perfect example would be Kevin Lacroix, who, you know, comes off as this hard, you know, really tough guy to race and doesn't take any BS, but you know what? He's really kind of shy and actually quite hilarious behind the scenes. So, you know, it's fun to get to kind of see the personalities of our racing series. That's been the really the coolest thing about it.
You know, Cam, I think the one thing that when I look at from your perspective, you are the super fan that the series and all the corporate people want. I mean, Adam, let's face it, majority of our fans live in the country and drive pickup trucks to the track. You know, Cam, you live in, like you said, in the financial district, you take the subway to work every day. These types of things, you know, you're the fan that we've been trying to claw into for so long. So to have you, you know, get on board, like Adam says, see the sizzle for what it's supposed to be, get involved. I mean, Adam and I are a lot alike. We're really from two different worlds. Our attitudes are totally different, but somehow racing brings us together, and that's amazing. But, you know, I think it was amazing because I knew you guys as your podcast. I thought it was shocking that you guys met at Sunset for the first time last year. But, Adam, these guys are still doing it right. I mean, they're still tailgating the whole week in Delaware out of a pop-up tent and a pickup truck. They're doing it right. But, Cam, you know, what's going to be the biggest story 2022 for the Pinty series, in your opinion?
You know, again, loaded question, Clinton. Thank you for that. You know, this season it's going to be the competition level. I mean, compared to what we've ever seen before, right now, there's a lot of things that still have to be announced, but just think of the names that we currently have. You have DJ Kennington. You have LP Dumoulin as some of the names just at the beginning, you know, champions coming back. But then you have somebody like an unknown of JP Bergeron coming into the series with Dave Jacobs equipment. That's top equipment, and he is a good young driver. Tie that in with coming on the ovals, you're going to see Rafael Lessard back in the series. So right there, we've already talked about some fantastic upcoming names, some returning names, and then you will even have more to be announced. I mean, you get some of the classics coming back. I mean, I don't know if he'd appreciate being called the classic, but Brian Cathcart coming back. I mean, that's a name you can go back into.
He's a classic.
He's a classic, right? Like you go and you see Mark Dilly coming back and White Motorsports building their empire. There's so much to look forward to this year. And that's really, really exciting.
How about Brandon Watson? That's the story, Adam, to me. You know,
there you go.
A super late model driver, an APC champion, a guy who, when he figures out these Pinty's cars, these guys are going to have someone to worry about every single week.
He did pretty good last year. Here's what excites
me. Yes. Finally, Ontario and Quebec come in, and two Goliath. We need the rivalry. 15 years ago, a Quebec racer just couldn't succeed in the sport. They just weren't getting it done, but they were showing up. Then in comes Andrew Ranger. Changed the sport. Here was someone from Quebec who could compete with the big guns. Scott Stackley and DJ Kennington, they weren't really young lions, but they're dominant racers. And then all of a sudden, Quebec just went crazy. Your Kevin Lacroix, your LP Dumoulin, your Andrew Ranger, your Alex Tagliani. Hello, English-speaking Canada, where did you go? This year, Brandon Watson, Treyton Lapsovich, and Gary Clute versus Quebec. And they were still going to have the old standards, the DJ Kenningtons, the Mark Dillys. It's finally that perfect storm, and Cam alluded to it. 2019 after that season, there was a lot of positive momentum. Things were trending in the right direction. And then the pandemic struck, and it's just like stones skipping across the water. Like, it's going to fizzle. But it's not. This year, we're going to see all of those entities come together. I want to see English Canada and French Canada collide. Like, I want there to be sparks flying.
I think there will be. I think we saw at Delaware last year that rivalries can happen in an instant, and they can get pretty heated. And I wouldn't anticipate that that's just going to go away right from the beginning. I mean, we saw the first race last year at Sunset Speedway with Pete Shepard and Raphael Lessard, and it continued all the way to Delaware with the EHR 22 racing teams in a full-on brawl that, maybe it wasn't the best look that maybe NASCAR didn't want to see, but it got a heck of a lot of attention from all over. And I mean, we're on social media all the time. We saw how much it got a lot of attention. And I think we can let the racing and the rivalry between Quebec and Ontario racers really be the main story for 2022.
Cam, as a fan, my last question for you here is switch from NBC Track Pass TSN Go to Flow Sports Racing, Flow Racing this year. Think it's going to be good or bad for the series?
You know what? It's a tough call, because while a lot of these companies do really, good stuff, it's always a difficult thing for fans, because I think finding it was always the hardest thing. Yes, TSN has options to see a live stream, which is great, but not a lot of people have TSN, right? So there's kind of pros and cons to everything. I think the way that racing is going to go is it's going to be streaming based. You're going to either buy a subscription to one service and have it available all year round. It's similar to what you're seeing with IndyCar. How they have that now package that you can get with Peacock, where you're going to get all of your IndyCar stuff, all of your practices, all your post-race shows, everything kind of in one place. And or
Cam, you're going to watch GeForce TV, courtesy of great partners like Fast Eddie's and Quick, and you're going to see some of the best racing in the country, and you're not going to have to subscribe. You can subscribe. You're not going to have to spend any money, because that's how we roll. Sorry, you didn't segue to that, but I had to steal it from you because it needed to be done.
I wasn't trying to steamroll that way, Cam. My opinion of it is I think it's actually going to help the Pinty series, because even look at from all of our fan base and friends, Adam, from the dirt side, they've all been indoctrinated into Flow. If you're watching any of the Brett Deo Super short track super series stuff we discuss on here, a lot of other series are on Flow, and I think that's going to help add to the Pinty's viewer base as well, because a lot of new people will find it on a Saturday and Sunday afternoon. The tie-in with GeForce, still in negotiations to be producing that on the backside, so hopefully there'll still be Adam and I calling that with Spencer at the controls, even though it'll be on Flow. It'll still be the GeForce boys behind it. Cam, thanks so much for stopping by, man. Anything you want to add, Adam or Cam, before we let you go? Adam first.
No, Cam, I'm so happy for the success that you've found, mostly because I think you're a genuinely good person. I love your nature, and I love the passion you've brought, and you've been able to. It's not easy to deliver that passion through a screen, through a camera, through a microphone. But you have done it, and I hope you keep doing it, and we're going to enjoy the hell out of it.
Well, thank you guys both for being, such big supporters of Grade and I. I wouldn't have done this with anybody else but Grade and Bun. He's the reason that that this has continued to go, and we became good buddies out of it. And to have such great supporters like you guys, it's really difficult to come into a brand new setting and try something out like this. It's very daunting, and to have you guys be such great supporters of us was such an honor and a thrill. And Adam, you said it to me a couple years ago in Toronto that things were looking up for the series, and I was so petrified to talk to you that first time, and I'm glad I did, because we've kind of been able to come out of this, and we really want to help racing in Canada and racing in general. And, so definitely can't wait to see people at the racetrack this year. We'll be decked out in our S&S gear and, doing whatever we can to help promote the series and promote racing.
Well, and what's our partnership, Clinton? I should know this before I ask you about that, but
we're helping them out a bit. We sent over some funds, and we're going to be a supporter of the podcast. Let people know when they can catch the Stickers and Scuffs podcast, Cam, and where.
Yep. You can find us pretty much on any streaming platform. We have YouTube. We have Facebook page. We're on Google Podcasts, Spotify, pretty much anything. And we release new episodes Tuesdays at noon. You can also catch, of course, audio or video platforms. Definitely come and join us on social media. Stickers and Scuffs on Instagram, the SNS Pod on Twitter. We're both on there as well, and you can find us all on Facebook as well. We're all over the place. We love to talk about our racing.
The last thing for Pinty's fans, you have a Pinty's group on Facebook too. Where can they find that, Cam?
Yep. So it's the NASCAR Pinty Series community. And we're definitely going to post as much information as we can. I just started almost like a J-Ski silly season team chart, trying to pump up everybody to see what potential moves are being made in the off season, because everybody knows what TSN Trade Center is like and how much those insiders get a lot of love and how much they help bring the excitement. So we'll try and do that, but we're always looking for new members. So we'd love to have you.
Yeah, folks, head over. And I do ask this, Cam, please include me in, as the season draws near, that either just before or just after the first race, please bring me on. I want to talk about what's going on, and I just love it. I enjoy being a part of that, and if you've got room for me, I can even make it quick.
The invitation is always open for both of you. You are always welcome on the podcast, no matter what.
Awesome.
Right on, Cam. Take care, man.
Thank you guys so much.
One of the good guys, Adam, and a pure fan of the sport, and we'll be watching their progress as they move on through it. We've got a couple other topics to get through. Go ahead.
It hasn't always been this way. Racing media was not always this inclusive and this friendly, and I think, and it may change, in the next generation, it may. But Clinton, you and I had so many problems breaking in. I think that has to have something to do with the fact that when someone comes along that just has the right motives, the right reasoning, the right character, it's like, yeah.
What I like about it is they're self-starters. They weren't going to get hired to do a podcast and host a podcast as unknown entities, just as you and I weren't. So we started our own and made our presence known. And here we are on Tuesday nights hanging out. So it's been a lot of fun.
And you nailed it.
Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry about this. It's what brings us together, right? People that wouldn't necessarily have such tight bonds. And that's the fun. We brought in a new member of our race team, Emerson Edwards. He was on some of the Adam Out There podcasts, young mental health advocate. He's been coming out to the race shop with us, and he doesn't have a history in racing, and we're trying to explain, look, come out here, do nothing, do something. It's not like a task list that we'll have. You just come out and you hang out and you just be yourself. That's what's the great thing about being around a race team. And now he's been out a few weeks in a row and he's getting his hands dirty, and it's fun. You just grow the family that way.
Yeah, you'll start to figure out what the team needs and jump in when we need. We got a few things we want to touch on. Some of our ad partners, of course, FastEddieSpeedwear.com. Check them out for any of the apparel you may want. A great way to show your love for the speed sport. Check it out, FastEddieSpeedwear.com. They've got hats, t-shirts, whether it's men's, women's, youth, whatever you want. They've got it. Check it out. You'll be hearing a lot more of them coming up this summer as we continue to expand our partnership with Fast Eddie and Quick throughout the upcoming broadcast season here live on GeForce TV. Also, a few of our other ad partners. Just want to mention, throw up the Jibs video, Spencer. We don't have to watch a lot of it, but if you go to jibsactionsports.com, if you're in the market for a scooter, BMX, skateboard, they've got all the stuff you want, even educational videos to help you make sure you got the right product and make sure you check it out. So it's all available at jibsactionsports.com. They've got continuous deals on, whether it's a complete scooter, BMX, or skateboard you want. Check it out, jibsactionsports.com. Adam, I got sucked in these videos. That's good, Spencer, and watched about 2 of them this afternoon. I'm an old BMXer. I found them interesting. So,
man,
cool
you
to
go
check it
down
out.
these rabbit holes.
I do.
You don't sleep. Like I go
don't.
to sleep at a reasonable hour, and you don't. You stay up all night because you'll tell me all the time about podcasts that you've watched or documentaries. Like when?
Yeah, it's
But
crazy.
good for you.
Late at night. A couple other things.
Let's go.
Canadian Dirt Racing Academy. Let's get the ads out the way, then we can talk about a couple last topics. Canadian Dirt Racing Academy is on an upcoming April 16th and 17th at Humberstone Speedway, featuring Matt and Randy Williamson. Help you get it the fast way around the dirt. And also open to sportsmen and modifieds the following week. Jordan Poirier and Kevin Loveys from GSR will get down there, and they will help you show you the fast way in the sprint cars, whether you're crate sprint 360, sportsman, or modified. Call them up. Make sure you get involved in those 2 weekends. Terry Vince was at my place today, Adam, to pick up some stuff, and we were talking. He tells me registration has picked up again because of the border being open with less restrictions. So he expects a few of the Americans are going to come over and get some early track time. If you just look at it from the pure perspective of how much track time you'd get if you signed up, it's definitely worth it to get out there and check that out. So let me just check, make sure we haven't forgot anything, and then we can jump in. Oh, Tommy's Trailers.
I was going to say trailer.
The trailer repairs for Tommy. Of course, as we get closer to the season, make sure you don't get left on the side of the road on your way to race day, whether it be single axle, dual, or tri. Make sure Tommy can get you on the fast track with whether it's brakes or anything else you need. Bearings, they can get you all fixed up. Give them a call. Tom's Trailer Maintenance, Parts, and Sales. Okay, 2 topics, Adam. One I sent in, one you sent in. We'll run through mine first, then you can explain yours. Kyle Busch is still being Kyle Busch, Adam. Just another weekly example of why Kyle Busch is not great for the sport.
Hey, can you talk about what happened with the 3, first of all, please?
I don't know, we got loose.
This type of racing, is it making you more an entertainer than a driver?
Yep. You like this version of Atlanta better than the old one?
Nope.
So I'll tell you, Kyle Busch said once practice comes back, we're going to really show them what we're all about. Well, Kyle Busch, you got your practice back. So, but I love you. Like, please keep being the villain. Keep doing what you're doing. Spencer, do you have the other video that I showed? Villains matter, because there's lots of people wearing M&M stuff. There's lots of people who want Kyle Busch to keep being exactly the way he is, just like there were a lot of people put a toothpick in their mouth and cheered for Razor Ramon. Did we have that video?
We did. I let it go. I'm thinking, come on, Spencer. It's the Twitter video of Spencer that got sent to the dump today. But in the dump, it's a good thing. It definitely got sent through. So
to talk, I'm glad Wesley Shaw. No, I want to come back with a couple of comments, because someone made the comment. It might have been Alvers. You're absolutely right. Road course racing is what brought the Quebec racers. Then all of a sudden they could win on ovals. Wesley makes a great point. None of the TSNs were showing the NASCAR race, and I made that comment in our Rivalz chat where Clinton and Spencer and I can talk about things. And Spencer, because he is better informed than I have, well, it's on CTV2. Listen, I don't care if it's on CTV2. NASCAR lives on TSN in Canada. They have 5 freaking TSNs. There were not 5 basketball games on at the same time at that time slot. Leave one for NASCAR. It deserves it. The racing has been great. Kyle Busch, you don't have to say you're a villain to be a villain. He seems to embrace it. He seems to do good things. At the same time, he's still happy to be Kyle Busch, and I'm happy not to cheer for him. But Razor Ramon said it best. Spencer, take.
I get it, too, but he played a bad guy. Kyle Busch is a bad guy.
Well, he was, and rest in peace. We lost Razor Ramon, Scott Hall, this past week. He had a lot of demons. He went through a lot of stuff. But you're right, he played a bad guy, and I think Kyle Busch plays a bad guy. You want to take some edge off of drivers, but at the same time, Let them be who they are. Kyle Busch does not like it when Kyle Busch does not do well. Some people really couldn't stand Mark Martin because no matter what happened, Mark Martin would always have this big song. Oh, today was a great day, Mark. You just hit the wall so hard in the infield. You were holding your nutsack because you were doubled over in pain because your crotch belt got you. And still, as soon as the camera comes on, you got a big old smile. I can't find my right testicle, but it's still a good day for this Folgers Ford. And thank Jack Roush for giving me. Oh, boy. Just say you're having a bad day.
See, I think Dale Earnhardt played a bad guy, but if you hear all the stories, he really was a good guy. He'll give you that wink on the backside.
I think Dale Earnhardt's the same as Kyle Busch. He didn't want to lose, but yeah, Dale Earnhardt really knew how to.
He knew how to play the game more. He knew when it was time not to be a dick. I don't think Kyle Busch knows that yet. And you know what? My prediction on this. And I'm a bit of a historian, so watch a lot of these. I saw that too. I go back in a lot of the racing history, and I have a big believer. I don't know if you saw the Dale Jr. podcast with Al Unser Jr. recently, and he's very regretful of the way he handled himself in many situations. And I think 20 years from now, Kyle Busch is going to look back on this and wish he did a lot of things differently. And maybe not Sunday, maybe not the Sunday before, but I think in general he's going to look back when he's old and it's behind him and he can't race anymore and think, man, I could have carried myself so much better. And that, to me, that's a true test of character. Hey, maybe you don't get it now, but if you never get it, maybe you were always an ass.
How many of us wish we had our college years back, Clinton, or our 20s back, or, I would have done it so much differently for better or worse? Yeah, he might. But the fact that he is how he is right now is a reason why we like him. If everybody acted like Terry Labonte, how exciting would that be?
No, I get it. You do need some villains.
Friction makes fire, which is actually what I say all the time when Clinton or Spencer get really mad at me, which is quite often. Friction makes fire, baby. We're on fire.
I just don't get how so many people love that kind of attitude. I mean, I was just raised differently. Come on, treat people with respect. Even the reporter there, we know you don't want to answer these stupid questions 300 times, but have fun with it. It's not going away, man. You're going to have to do it. So you can be bitter and pissy every time, or you can realize, hey, it's something I'm going to have to deal with. Quickly, back to Quick Wit. Still nobody has given us a correct answer. Do we tell it, Adam? Do we just say nobody won and give Taylor the shirt he's waiting on because we're going to hook up Taylor Hoekstra for it? But in 2021, the Quick Superstock Series held 6 races. What driver had the most top 10 finishes and how many? Do you want to take a shot at it, Adam? I'll give you a quick t-shirt if you can guess it.
So who?
Hold on, time out. Did you look at the rundown sheet before we went on the air?
No,
because you rarely do, or I wouldn't have asked it.
Did I look at the rundown? No, but okay, here's my thinking. It is not Lane Zardo because Lane Zardo won so much that when it was still close coming down to the end, which leads me to think it's got to be Garrett, or is there someone I'm forgetting, like There's a steady Eddie who 8th or 9th place finishes?
Spencer, save the chicken pit special for next week because that's still current. Next week. So how about that? Okay, so you've eliminated Zardo, Nagy. You're not even close, man.
Can you give me the top 5 or 10 in points? Like
let me tell you. Yeah, let me tell you who it isn't. Todd Davenport, Carson Nagy, Ryan Dyson, Jason Parker, Nick Ramsey, Ray Morneau, Pete Vanderwist, or Weist. How do you say that one? You're going to nail me on that one too. Trevor Culver, Lane Zardo. It's none of those guys. So who is it? Who's the one guy in the top 10 who you cannot recall? See, it's someone you were forgetting.
Yeah, once you tell me, I'm gonna be upset because I should have known. Yeah, let's
give us the reveal. Dwayne
really?
Baker. Yeah,
the bully.
Yep.
Wow, all 6 top 10s. Good for him.
Yeah, He was the only one in the whole tour last year who finished all races inside the top 10. Lane Zardo had 5 top 10s, as did Culver. Ramsey had 4. Morneau had 3.
Right on.
And there we go. All right.
We should.
That's it.
Next week, we're going to have an exciting announcement about what our APC streams are going to look like and some of the voices you might hear. Some big things coming up there. I enjoyed tonight, Clinton. I hope you got over me poking fun at your.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good.
Motorama.
I'm pissed at you every Tuesday to start, but you need to write me some phonetically pronunciation so we can make sure I get the season right. Because if
You
you're up
just
my
need
ass
to
on
not
that
mess
here,
it
we're gonna
up.
fight. Yeah, thank God we didn't have a GT video tonight because I would have been on the hot list for that one too.
Yeah. Right on. Good show. Good night. I think there's an American Idol that I've PVR'd that I've got to go watch. That's the rest of my evening.
All right. Thanks, Spencer. Thanks everybody for joining us. We'll see you next week.